Is there anyone in the room that has their gold or silver? A couple of people. Would anyone want to give a testimonial on that?
I will.
Okay.
I'd say the EPIC training as a whole, from bronze to gold, is probably the most valuable training I've ever done. Simply because you can start from almost no knowledge at all, and it builds as you move forward. It teaches you how to use the triangle. And I still use the triangle today, even when preparing customer quotations, because you start at the bottom and work your way up. Make sure you've got everything the whole way through. It's preparatory, and as you go through it, you gain more and more insight into the way that the whole industry goes together.
And the different companies, I mean, from an incentive standpoint, you guys are all different. There's no right one way or another way. Some companies incentivize their employees if they get through the first bronze level. They might get a $500 bonus. Silver level $1,000. So you can use it whatever meets your culture. Your work environment. Some companies make the student pay for the program, then they double it at the end. So the student's kind of tied from a financial standpoint, from a commitment standpoint. But incentivizing seems to work too. Making some type of recognition at the end really goes a long way.
Allison, you mentioned Epic Automation. So is that going to be, thank you. Is that going to be a program that's more focused on the automation OEM industry? One of the things being more focused on the OEM, we found that the program is a little more contractor focused and may not have been as useful for some of our associates. So I'm interested to hear what this Epic Automation program and what it looks like.
That's something that one of our task forces at the Education Development Council are building, and we are using, SMEs within our industry. I don't know as much about the actual, because I'm not building that. The only thing before I came here is I said, when is it available? And they told me January. That's why I piped in. So Brian might know.
One of our colleagues, John Kiso, that we work with, he kind of oversees our EPIC program. In terms of the framework, the pieces that are going to be potentially in it, we can get you in touch with John. And he works, in terms of the EDC and the group that's building this, the committee and task force that's working through it. John's pretty tied in with that program.
Can you get, I'll grab your card after we're done.
Okay.
And I'll get you hooked up.
Hey, Bob Cox, I can just say the short answer is yes.
Hey, thanks, Bob. You're on that team. My bad. The back.
Thank you. Question for Allison. So are you creating tools that we could use like on our website or for onboarding to draw people to our industry? Is there DVDs or whatever's the new technology available? Flash something.
Yes, I actually have VHS tapes and cassette tapes with me today. Yeah, yeah, I gotta dust them off. So, yes, to answer your question, I'm doing a lot of social media analysis and career page analysis and helping. I've researched probably 200 distributors now. I haven't got to everybody to see what I like and dislike, and maybe, basically offering different suggestions. I don't have the capability to, totally revamp it, but definitely offering a lot of suggestions. Also with onboarding, we actually have an onboarding toolkit already online at NAED.org. But another thing I do is if you already have an onboarding program or you think that you do, I'll partner with you and kind of analyze it and offer tips accordingly, because some people think onboarding is, getting carpal tunnel, after filling out a stack of paperwork and now you're onboarded and, good luck out there, bud, So basically, if things are already, short answer, if things are already in place, we're going to analyze it. And if they're not, we can build it, that kind of thing.
And she puts it in a polite sort of way, in a nice.
A very nice way. Yes.
And even the suppliers in the room too, from a manufacturer. I mean, you've shared kind of critique and feedback, and distributor or manufacturer, will help suppliers in the audience as well. So any manufacturers that need help, will help you there as well. So.
And as far as attracting, we are actually building a new recruitment attraction video. Right now we have one out on the website. Some of y'all might even been a part of it, but it's more like interview style. And I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm getting away from that and doing it as a whole to make it a sexy industry, as I'm quoting it. And so I'm going to show the whole channel. I'm going to do manufacturers, just, everybody. And we're hiring an agency to do that. And it's going to be something that would be available to the members. So it'll be revamped. I'm also helping right now build a new recruitment attraction website that's going to be a sublet of NAED. It was an idea of the Manufacturers Council, which I'm starting to work more with. And basically on there we'll have the new video. It will have the career links. So it's not a job board, and we did that, and it wasn't as great. So basically, it's going to say career links, and then I'm in Texas, let's say, so I'm going to hit the South, and then every manufacturer and distributor that are in the South, the main house, that's how we had to do it, and and then it'll just have alphabetical order, and then you click on, let's say Elliott Electric, and then it'll go directly to their career page. So, and then we're also going to do video vignettes. So, like if you are a recent grad, or if you're just not let's say I worked in hospitality for 20 years, I don't know what inside or outside sales does for electrical, So basically it's like 10 functional roles. And Kevin, who is, he's actually helping partner with me. So we're going to do short, little video vignettes of the day in the life and make that very exciting, regardless if it's a driver. We're making that exciting. So for the students, or potential applicants, I should say.
Okay, we have a question over here. Just remember to say your name and who you're with.
Allison, this is Sean Burgett with Border States. Sorry, I was very loud. You kind of answered my question, but I think just more of a comment. But I like your idea of of doing the recruitment video or whatever you're doing there, because I think I went to a trade school, and I think I was unaware of, when I came to work for distribution, all the opportunities that are available within electrical distribution, and everything from product managers, application engineers, and things like that. So I think that would just to raise the awareness of the opportunity within this industry would be great.
I appreciate the comment. So maybe we'll be reaching out to you, because I'll be, I'll kind of have a task force behind me. Like I said, it's not going to be interview style, so you're not going to be on the video, right? But maybe, to get your input of things that we can incorporate, and because I want y'all to be able to put it on your career pages if you want. But I also think it's important to show, let's say, the culture, So if I'm at Border States, I want to see, if I'm an applicant, I kind of want to see their culture. Maybe if it's not spelled out in text, quick video, because I think we're trying to do that even with our courses on NAED. If you're like me, you don't like to read, I just like to look at the pictures. And so maybe it's a generational thing. Yeah, go ahead and make the joke. But we're doing more gamification now. So I think the video is another route we're trying to, it's kind of why we're going down that road. Less text, the better,
Amaris Johnson, Amaris Johnson, Eaton Corporation. This question is for Scott. I'm just curious to know the history behind developing the 30 under 35 recipients, and how have past recipients been able to be leveraged to highlight the industry as a whole?
So 30 under 35 actually started 5 years ago. So this is the fifth reunion, obviously. And it's, a part of it is being able to reward your employees for hard work and for doing what it is that they do, whether they're going through the EPIC courses or they've been promoted a number of times for the effort that they're putting forth. And just, it's a way to obviously continue them down their path. And then what we do is, what we're starting this year, and I'll get a little bit more into it tonight when I hand out the awards, is we really need to sort of forge this group together of the 120 people who've won previously and the 30 that we're going to be honoring tonight, and say, these are the people that are going to take us to 2036 and beyond. So they're going to, the folks who look like me and have gray hair have done a great job of creating, obviously, this industry and keeping it strong and fighting off technological changes of the internet was invented since they opened their company, and huge recession that happened in 2009 and 2010. And you know what? Praise to those companies that are still in business and were able to weather all of that and are still strong today. The question then becomes, how are we going to be strong 20 and 30 years from now? And the answer is you. And the answer is that 30 under 35 that we know have the first 150 that we've honored that we know have what it takes to be strategic and forward-thinking and creative and innovative, and they're going to obviously keep the supply chain as strong as it could possibly be for the future. So what we're going to do is we're going to forge this group together and continue to build it and make it bigger and continue to work together and use technology and continue to make this as great as it can and should be for the future. So if I had a young employee that, I think is an up-and-comer, I would send them to the LEAD conference, because the idea is all the 30 under 35 come back to the LEAD conference every year and talk about best practices and talk about ways to improve the supply chain and talk about how we're going to build for the future. That way, it just continues to grow and becomes this really large, strong force that just generationally continues to turn over and continues to build on itself. So that's where I see the 30 under 35 going forward, where it just becomes what is right now kind of the elite troops of 150, but 5 years from now it's 300, and 10 years after that it's 600. And now we've got a really solid group of strategic, smart people who've come up through the industry and have really built the supply chain into what it can and needs to be in the future, where, to be honest, we have no idea what that's going to lead to, what technology is going to lead us into. So that's the direction that I see the 30 under 35 as we move forward.
And for the winners, from a leverage standpoint, I think Dickman, Neil, your team does a great job, but use it in your markets. The press releases, the photos, the recognition. Share it with the local newspapers, the markets that you're in. That goes a long way too. I think you guys, when Doug was on board, you guys do an excellent job of that. So even in your own markets, your own cities, share that with the local business journals, newspapers. It's great kind of feet on the street, if you will. Last year, our IT and database team, to Scott's point, we looked at seasoned veterans that are retiring we lost 340 some odd key executive, supporters of NAED over the past 2 or 3 years. Who's going to fill that void for us from a task force, from the Larrys of the future, down the road? That's where we're going to look for this audience and future winners to step up. And to Amanda's point last night, who's going to take that risk? There's a lot of talent, there's a lot of expertise in the room. We're going to be coming to you at some point, to step up and to help us as an association, to serve on a task force, to serve on a committee, to serve on a council. You're our future leadership at some point as well. So we want you to get engaged. We want you to step up and take that risk.